for Hitler to eventually persuade the German people that the Jews were evil people when they were exactly the opposite, he had to use brainwashing methods. To do that, he had to use his bureaucracy to disseminate all these lies. This caused the greatest crime in history. And having done that, we now live in the post-era of what's happened, but we haven't learned, because history always repeats itself. Human nature by its very way is greedy, selfish. Selfishness being possibly the worst crime. Don't think about others, only yourself. Do whatever is necessary for you to get more money while others suffer. We will be totally in a position to destroy that evil philosophy of stupidity. Stupidity, lies, and cowardice are the three titles of what this country is now suffering from. Yes, they've got all these MPs, but how do they get there? They get there simply by promising everything and giving nothing, lying to everybody so that they get elected. And that is because none of them, the great failing of the system, is that, quite simply, none of them, they've got authority, they have no responsibility, and that results in deposition. Therefore, they have authority as Hitler did, but they're not held responsible. And so if they fail, which they always will do, because the promises they make are only there to get your vote, once they're in there, they know they've got you. And they're even rewarded for failure. The House of Lords is full of people who failed, and they get paid for having failed. The banks at the top were rewarded for having failed, with traders getting millions in bonuses. And all of them, every single one at the top, produced nothing. Rich people, yes, they deserve. Those who produce, those who sell, those who manufacture deserve help, and more so, because they are helping to produce jobs. What jobs are there now? People get a pittance. They can't even go on holiday. They can't even, young people can't even have a hope of buying a house, because a house is out of the reach of nearly everyone. The reason for that as well, I shall come to that in another speech later on. Why is it that a plot of land costs more than the house you put on it? It's very simple. There's no end of land that could be used. But the planning department, a bureaucratic nightmare of parasites, deliberately say no to applications so that there's a huge shortage. And a plot that would be 5,000 becomes 100 because everybody needs it. Bureaucracy, the greatest crime in this country, means that even the government employ people directly to put other small businesses and big ones out of work, to destroy employment. That is known as now as health and safety. Now, they should be destroyed, all of them. And people who own a business, people who own anything, personally responsible for their actions. There's no other way. Everybody in their house is responsible for what happens. So why shouldn't people who affect the lives of millions not be held personally responsible as well? Well, the law doesn't need changing. You can still keep solicitors, barristers, judges in the law industry, but they will have one difference. Instead of having 100,000 laws, they'd have one law based on do unto others as you would be done unto. And then have everybody, yes, with every 1,000 people, have one person responsible to see with common sense what is just. Because no lawyer, no judge, no solicitor, nobody in the law can, with the law, ever get anything that is called justice. They just do something which agrees with the law. Justice is something else. Justice is simply doing unto others what you would have done unto you. And that is not anything but a political statement. And there is no need to look at any other way. And this would save millions. Because all the money, for instance, the money spent on the hacking scandal, what nonsense, 100 million spent on that. How many factories would that have built to produce what we were importing? Probably 20 or 30 or more. And it is because there is no punishment in any way which could hurt someone, because there hasn't been any punishment since the last war. It is because of that, and that only, that a country is failing, because nobody in the hacking scandal would have even considered doing anything as stupid. If they knew they'd be punished, would they? No. But they knew the worst thing, you might get fined a few £100 or whatever. And this little enterprise or movement that we're going to start is not going to be for me personally or anyone else. It is to see that the awful things that are happening, even to a war that can happen now, is put right. And we won't do so just with words. It means we have to have hundreds and thousands of people believing in a future that is better for their children, for themselves, for everything that's gone on, so that at last respect can be put first before selfishness. But no, money, money, money. And now the awful part is, even people with money now can find, yes, they are getting richer. The reason is quite simple. When this so-called crisis swindle started, many small businesses were pushed by bigger ones for cheaper costs. They went out of business. These businesses, take one for instance, that was say $1 million, had to sell for 100,000. People with money bought it up, so they became more wealthy. That makes sense. And that is the only thing we've got to solve. Equality? What a joke. Equality does not exist in nature. And the government are so stupid, they even have a minister for equality. Well, they might as well have a minister for pigs that can fly, because equality cannot exist. If so, there'd be the death of humanity totally, because people would not work, there'd be no food produced, and people would be at each other's throats for the few crumbs that would be left. But there is a way to get equality. There is a way, and it is through work, opportunity, and justice, and to treat others as you would be treated yourself. That is the only way. Now, I shall come to the end because I'm sort of speaking without notes. I shall shortly I'll be making speeches about, excuse me one sec. I shall be speaking a lot about what is happening in the Middle East, which could be the petard that lights the world, because I'm very familiar of the reasons and the motives. Reason is not the same thing. Of why it can be. Now we have the greatest evil, political correctness, criticizing Israel. Okay, maybe they are heavy-handed, but I ask you this question. If you had a next-door neighbor and you were throwing bricks and manure through your window and you were quite a muscular person, would you go out there and say, please do it again? You'd go in there and give him a bloody good hiding, I think. and maybe that's what I would do. So I don't expect any of you who criticize all these marvelous minds who always criticize what everybody does to be able to say anything, because the Jews, I may tell you, I'm very familiar with, because my life was saved by one as a tiny boy in Nazi-occupied France. And I know what they're like, and I won't take anything against them. And Israel is doing, I know maybe they are a bit heavy-handed, yes, but I would have done exactly the same. And the whole world now is becoming anti-Semitic again. A great race of people who, through every problem in life that one can have for 2,000 years since Jesus Christ, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to speak about that as well. I want to put it in its correct environment so that people understand.